I'm notorious for wearing too many layers. And it's like every time a mile in, I'm hot. Coach is having me do 20-minute warm-up, 4 by 4 minutes with 4 minutes rest in between, and then a 20-minute cool down. And then later today, I'll just do an hour easy. Training for 200s and just like massive races the last 2 years. You know, it's just different kind of racing. So now as I'm looking forward to Western States 100 in June, which is roughly 17 and a half weeks away, I know that training just needs to look different. So I think every year I try to do something that I'm really passionate about, that excites me, that is going to challenge me in any way and make me grow. So one of the ways we do that is getting out in a little mini storm to train. So I'm gonna stop procrastinating right now and go do that. Today's workout was a 20-minute warm-up, 4 by 4 minutes at RPE of 910, which now that the workout is over, I'm very glad that the workout prescribed was based on rate of perceived exertion instead of pace. We've been having storms roll through Southern California, and here on the coast, we're getting 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts of wind. But I really didn't want to do this workout on the treadmill today. I thought you can never predict what's going to happen on race day, and just as in being in the sport of ultra for so long, I have been in many situations where the weather turns or the weather is not what we expected it to be, and we have to work through that. And I think the better that we are at being flexible and being able to work through every situation, the stronger that you're gonna be out there on race day. I'm really glad that I got out and I did it. It did not go as well as I wanted it to, but again, I think just focusing on the perceived exertion, like what that effort was that I was giving, helped me accept the pace a little bit more. So I love intervals. I think intervals are magic. I think that it's a great way to improve your fitness. It is a great way to set you up for stronger racing on race day. It is a great way to introduce yourself to being uncomfortable in running, especially for those that are maybe brand new to it. And intervals, there's so many different varieties and different types of recipes for intervals that you can do, which makes it really fun and interesting. So today was 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off, and during the 4 minutes off was like 4 out of 10 effort. So super easy, slow jogging. And then as soon as that 4 minutes was up, then bam, we clicked right back into that faster pace. And a couple things that I like to work on when it comes to intervals is just really focusing on my running form, cadence. I tend to run with my shoulders a little bit high, so I try to tell myself relax the shoulders a little bit and really just embrace the effort, embrace the discomfort. And it's only 4 minutes. We can do anything for 4 minutes. So yeah, one of the times I thought I was gonna throw up, but we got through it. Fingers and hands are frozen. Oh, it was so good to get that workout done. I don't think I ran it great. Like, did not. And not to blame the wind. Like, I wanted to be in the wind. I wanted to run in that little storm. But it definitely kind of challenged me to lock in a pace when I felt like the wind was hitting me from like every direction, and I was like gulping air. A couple chunks in there I didn't blend too well, but that's all right. Perfect. Easy. Super stoked to be sponsored by local coffee cafe sessions. They have 4 locations here in Southern California. The one here in Huntington Beach off PCH is where we'll be heading to today, but Matt, the owner, is training for his first 100 miler in Utah, and he asked me to help create him a sandwich. So that's been really fun. But it's also really fun that Eddie and I get to go in and get free food and coffee whenever we want. So thank you, Sessions, for fueling my adventures.
So earlier in the week, you had a chance to go out to Mount Baldy. How was your time in the mountains?
Yeah, so this week I decided to divert a little bit from the training plan just for this day. It's something I do every single year. My mom passed away when I was 17, so every year I like to do something on her birthday, and I typically go to the mountains and just have a day in the mountains. And so that's what I did. I went up to Mount Baldy. It's my favorite mountain. I knew there was gonna be a lot of snow up there, so I wasn't really sure how high I could get. And you know, my goal was just to have a good, strong, safe day out there. I knew that I would mainly be climbing, like that's what the emphasis would be just on strong legs, climbing straight up, and not really overly focused on the workout side of it. Really, I went out there just to celebrate her birthday and just be grateful that I had an incredible mom for the first 17 years of my life. So much that I owe to her, and I think it's a really impactful tool to use reflection as a time to just be grateful in life. So I typically don't see a lot of people on the Bear Flats Trail. That's why I like that trail. You get roughly 6,000 feet of climbing in 6 miles. So it has been for almost 15 years now a perfect training ground for me, especially if I'm training for races in the Alps, pretty much anywhere in Europe where there's aggressive climbing. So it is so humbling. It's a challenging route, and the day was beautiful. And as I started up on the trail, I was warming up, and I was no more than a mile in, and I ran into this woman named Nancy. And when I came up behind her, I made small talk with her, and I said, "How are you doing? How's the trail treating you today?" And she said, "Oh, you know, I don't have a lot of energy, and I forgot my sunglasses, so I think I'm gonna have to turn around." And I had a hat on, and I thought, you know, why not give her my sunglasses? So I gave her my sunglasses, and then we struck up a conversation, and she stayed with me for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes or whatever, and we chatted, and I got to know her a little bit. And right then and there, she just totally inspired me, and I learned a lot about how she started hiking in the mountains at 62 years old.
67.
Yeah.
My first time summit Whitney when I was 63.
Oh my gosh.
I summit every other day.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I summit 32 times.
32 times, Mount Whitney?
Even 3 months before my total knee replacement, I summit 3 times.
So you've had total knee replacement?
Yeah.
And you're still out here.
Slow me down. That slowed me down.
She's now 77 years old and has summited Mount Whitney 32 times, and that's why she was out there today. She was training to summit again. So after running into Nancy, I continued up the trail and loved every step, but the higher I got, I noticed the snow started to get thicker, and it was time for me to turn around because I didn't bring any spikes with me. So I turned around, descended, and then I ran into Nancy again. I found you!
I just don't have energy.
Yeah, I know. Today,
How far did you go?
I didn't go very high, only like 3 miles because the snow got really bad.
Oh,
She was asking about when I first started getting into the mountains, and we started sharing more just about our personal lives. And I could really tell how much she loved Mount Whitney and the Eastern Sierra, just that whole area. And at one point she asked me, oh, have you heard of Badwater 135? You know, have you ever thought about doing that race? And as soon as I told her that I had done that race 3 times, she just exploded into the greatest joy and laughter. I mean, it was the most precious thing. And I don't know why, I just felt like in that moment we had this like really sweet connection, because in a really interesting way, Nancy is just a few years older of what the age of what my mom would have been. And I just felt like it was like this sweet little gift, because her reaction was so similar to the way that my mom would have reacted had she known that I had done something like that. So it just really blessed me, because meeting Nancy on that trail on a weekday, it enlivened in me one of the main core reasons why I love the trail and ultra community so much. And it really is about the people, the places that our feet take us, and the people that we meet along the way who we normally wouldn't meet just in our everyday lives. It was really special, and it really blessed me. I think sometimes as a competitive athlete, it's really easy for me to get so caught up in my training, in effort, in metrics, and you know the recovery, and just all of the everyday ins and outs of training. And it's easy to overlook the true like joy and enthusiasm of the sport, and the reasons why so many people love the sport, what makes the community so great. And it's people like Nancy who make the community great. And I told her a couple times, you inspire me, Nancy. I hope that you watch this, Nancy. I hope that you come across this video, because when I'm 77, I hope that I'm still training for Mount Whitney. And I hope that I'm still going up to Mount Baldy and going up the Bear Flats Trail. You're just incredible. And I'm just so grateful that I got to meet you. I'm so grateful to call you friend. And if you watch this, know that you totally blessed my day. It was such a sweet little gift. So, yeah, after I finished on the mountain, I went and bought some cupcakes at the store, and cupcakes that I think my mom would have liked. Enjoyed some cupcakes, and they went my way back home. But it was kind of cool just having like a pretty solid training week and inserting a day like that in there. It makes me think maybe that needs to be a part of just like a standard training plan for everyone. Put the hard work in, but make sure that you don't lose sight of the reason why you love the sport in the first place. Don't lose sight of the joy that the community and connecting with people brings us, and don't lose sight of the beauty around us that we get to be in and day out. And whether that's along the ocean, in the mountains, running with a group of friends through the streets, there's so many things about just getting out and moving our body. Doesn't matter what pace. It could be a slow 25-minute per mile up the side of a mountain. But I think moving our body, being outside, it's brought me a lot of joy and has allowed me to make a lot of friends. And I'm so grateful that Nancy is one of them. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Thank you for tuning in every week. It means a lot to me, and I love hearing from you. Thank you for your comments. And I'll tell you what, I know that I have a lot of work to do. I know I have a lot of training to do, and there's areas all throughout my life that I can improve upon. And I hope that you're working towards something too. I hope that you know that I will be working right alongside you. And just to remind you, if I can do it, you can do it too. And if no one has told you yet today, your goals are absolutely worth working for. Thanks again for tuning in. I will see you next week.